I'm still with the Trump administration in laying down the hammer, going through these communities, pulling out the people that don't belong here and taking them out and sending them somewhere. Is an insult to people who actually went through the process to become legalized citizens, who served in the country. Again, is an insult to them for free money to be given away, free housing to be given away to people who cross the border, whether it's for a financial situation or not. Because you don't know people who are here already, who did the whole process, they crossed the border also legit, legally, and they deserve the right not to have the hard work and the money they paid to get their citizenship be looked at and spit on and all of that. We talk about all this other stuff having to do with immigration, and I agree. There's something that needs to be done for this immigration issue. We do have moms and grandparents that are here, that's been here 15, 20 years, having committed a crime. There does need to be a process that goes forth. But like I said earlier with the Marjorie Taylor Greene situation, this is the intentional right against left, left against right fight that we see. That and it's happening and being forced to happen, pushed to happen in order for the constituents on one side or the other to draw closer to their representatives, whether they're in Congress, whether in Senate, and rally the vote for them to take the White House, for them to take that position. Yeah, because if they wanted to do something about immigration, they would have did it. They really would have did it. And Trump's move to do it, I think it's just the start of what should be done. At the end of the day, we've got to address habeas corpus because these guys are here under habeas corpus. What that truly means and how that truly affects us as Americans, okay? But it's a spit in the face to people who have already lived here, been here, got their citizenship, and they're moving around and building lives. And now you come and say, "Hey, yeah, I know you're a citizen, but we're going to give free money to Pablo over here because his country, he's seeking asylum from him." It's just not a good play. It's not. It's not.
And more than 200 people are under arrest in a major ICE operation in Charlotte, North Carolina. DHS says they all have criminal records. Madison Scarpino joins us from Charlotte. What more do we know about these people?
Good morning, Stuart. Well, according to Border Patrol, many of them are accused of crimes like assault, gang affiliation, and drunk driving. So there are a lot of people in support of Operation Charlotte's Web, but there is also a lot of pushback. Right now, I'm standing in front of a local Latino bakery that the owner is temporarily closing because he says immigration officials are targeting his customers. And take a look at what went down here last night. A group of protesters gathered. You can see a car doing donuts in the middle of the road, people waving flags, signs, and chanting in support of this bakery and also against the operation. The bakery owner says he's worried for his business and he's scared.
Okay, so I will always be an opponent against people who decide to wave their nation's flags in the streets of America, promoting their nation within this nation. I will always be an opponent against them. I will. Because there's only one flag that should be waved here. Whether you like this country, you dislike this country. Because you haven't been to a country where the government fell and chaos reigned. You have no idea what it's like. I've been there, I've seen it, and I know what it's like. Prior military, I've seen shit, and I know what it's like. There is no reason for that to be. And as long as that's happening, donuts in the middle of the street, Mexican flags, Venezuelan flags being waved, it's good to be proudful and to have pride in where you came from, but damn, you need to be able to conform to where you're at. You need to be able to make the change and conform to where you're at. Please leave a comment if you think I'm crazy. If you think I'm wrong and you disagree, you're welcome to leave a comment. If you like it, shoot some hearts and give me some likes. At the end of the day, this country has done a lot, regardless of how shady shit can be. We can't turn around and say the politicians who are shady are an example or a reflection of what the whole system is. Because there's a lot of people, good people, that work in the system, that work in America, and they do good for people. Whether you're talking about housing administration, whether you're talking about Department of Education, it doesn't matter. But that shit right there, I don't care if y'all don't like it or not. I'm always going to be against it. And I will make clips and clips against it because it cost to actually become a citizen of this country. And there's a price that's paid. And you spit at that price when you turn around and, as citizens, you advocate for migrants who left shithole countries. They did leave them. And nobody wants to admit that those are shithole countries. Everybody wants to say that the countries are beautiful. Yeah, the beaches can be beautiful, but the administration, the people who run it are shithole people. And for that reason, the people are dying, suffering from mass inflation. Venezuela, where they have to put their money into Bitcoin for a level of stabilization to stabilize their currency. And you think that just by letting them in without forcing conformity, learning the English language, and finding out if they really care about the country, you're dumb, you're stupid, and you are the epitome of the entitlement mentality of this country that I see is shaping and taking place whenever I see all of this. You guys are, some of them are just entitled. And I'm not going to say to some of y'all out there that's listening to this. Yeah, it might be some of y'all that's listening to it. I don't know. But you're entitled. You're entitled. I don't have to agree with Trump on everything. And I don't agree with Trump on everything. One thing I can say is that this issue needs to stay at the forefront. And that people who sit back and they throw a hissy fit over something like this taking place, over ICE officers doing their job. You guys are the reason why the Republic suffers the way that it does. Because the people you vote in office, instead of holding them accountable for the shit they promised they're going to give you, you don't. You don't. You know, and I still don't understand how foreign influences can come into this country, set up businesses without any socials, without any fund, without any social, and they can run bakeries and tequila restaurants, Mexican food restaurants, all these different places. And I'm talking to Chinese folks too. Y'all get it? Some of you Africans with African restaurants, y'all get it too? All of y'all get it. All of y'all can get it. Because at the end of the day, you're really it really screws up our country and makes it worse, because it sends a message that anybody and everyone can come here and do what the hell they want to do. And that's when chaos starts to reign.
There's an amount of fear, and a lot of fear. Nobody wants to know that a child is losing their father or their mother.
There's fear with people, I'm sorry, that lost family members and lost people that they know to illegal migrants that weren't supposed to be here and ended up killing some of them. So yeah, you're right. There is a lot of fear mongering going on, but some of the shit is justified.
But we have seen some heated confrontations, and some have turned dangerous. Border Patrol agents arresting this individual who allegedly jumped a curb and sped their car towards agents. DHS says they eventually rammed their car into those agents, and this is the second time it's happened this week, according to DHS. Secretary Noem says these officers are just trying to make the streets safer and are putting themselves in danger.
The individual.
See, you feel good until you sit down like this. Look at that. Let's go back. Yeah, you thought you were the shot until they sit back
that are
and they
out
got
there
you
protesting
behind. I want to show this joint. They got you behind sitting on the wheel of the automobile of the car, and they got you sitting down there. Look at that. Got us sitting down there.
Trying to make the streets safer and are putting themselves
right there. Just sitting right down there. They got to blur your face out because you're a fool. Because you're a dummy and you think that your little what is that? Impala is going to make this is your testament for the revolution. I saw this stupid movie last night. It was entertaining, but it was also stupid. You had Leonardo DiCaprio up there. And what was it called? What the hell was that movie called? It was on Netflix. Another bad day or something like that, or it's another day and it's bad. No, it was on Prime. Another bad thing after another bad thing, or something like another bad incident or after another bad incident. But it's supposed to be these guys that are fighting for they're revolutionaries fighting the United States government and freeing immigrants and fighting big business. And then he just spends days just smoking weed and just laying on the couch after he experiences the trauma of having to run and hide and have a fake name and passport because the government is coming after him. Why? Because he blew up a bunch of shit. I know I don't want to give the movie away, but when you're a fool, you end up sitting down there on the floor, on the cold behind floor, and you got these guys around you because you decided to crash your car into theirs in some type of revolt or delusional. You're just delusional about revolting. You deserve that. You deserve that. You definitely deserve that. Because just like Praz, for whatever reason, y'all think y'all can just do shit and there's no repercussion. You think you just do it. There's no repercussion. Yeah. So I kind of believe that you need to sit down on a cold, hard floor. They need to let your behind sit there. They need to take you to a cell and sit on a cold floor. You need to get some cold meals because you're fighting for people that left their country to break into your country, steal your shit and have you pay for it. And then you believe that the billionaires are responsible for it. Now, granted, there's a lot of stingy-ass billionaires, but there's some generous ones. Just like there's some stingy-ass people with zero money in their pocket, and then there's generous people who have nothing that still share what they have. The money is only an amplifier of what's in your heart. If your heart is dark, you're going to do dark shit. They just going to give you the money, and you're going to do darker shit. Whether it's Epstein or some of these other ones they wrestle up. If you're delusional, you're going to do some delusional shit. You just going to do some delusional shit. You just going to do it. Because in your mind, it starts in your mind. It starts in your heart. It has less to do with the government and more to do with what's inside. The reason we can't get good politicians is because they don't have good hearts anyway. And we got some good politicians, and I'm not going to make that a general statement, but we have more of them that are trumped up and drunk on power. And they got to have it. They need to have it. Yeah. So they end up doing everything that they can or anything that they can underneath the table with big corporations. The same corporations you guys fight against are the same corporations that play Spanish songs throughout the day in their billion-dollar companies that they've never played before because they want to make illegal migrants coming south of the border to feel more comfortable. They want them to know that we're sided on their side, and then they want to bring them in and pay them delusional low rates because they have to replace the working class, the people who realize that, hey, I'd rather run a business. This shit is not making sense. They got to replace them. When you spread the message that it's okay to have that college degrees are the only way to be successful, and you just get that, you plug it into the system, and shit's just going to work out perfect for you. And you don't tell them about the grind. You don't tell them about the rejection. You don't teach them sound principles and not to be swayed by things that happen to keep going. But let's say they keep going and they press forward. Then you want to tell them and demean what they did as being, oh, that's minor. We need to tax you more because you made a little bit of money. You made some good money. You're probably at 98% of the people who make money. As an entrepreneur, I don't care about none of that shit. I don't. Because at the end of the day, I know that those big businesses will do what they need to do to always make sure they have somebody there to work. Because the high school students grow to be college students, and the college students grow to get jobs. And God knows if they move to New York with their degree, the level of entitlement that they display, which brings out a person like Lindani. Yeah. So I'm 100% for them rolling out every single person that's there. If they see them and y'all want to say is stopping them because of their color or ethnicity, stop them. If they black, stop their ass. If they Spanish, stop their behind. And I'm a black man telling you that. But worse than that, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to screw you up even more. I'm a black man that became a naturalized citizen when he was 13 years old, served years and years in the military, and seen a lot of shit. Was active duty when they blew up that stuff at the World Trade Center. When they flew it in to the World Trade Center, I was on base. And I thought it was a video game. Yeah. Yeah. Drag them out. Drag them out. Drag them out one by one. Drag them out. Now, for the people that say I'm crazy, you do this. You go to your politicians and you demand them to address habeas corpus. Because that's why they're still here. And that's the biggest hang up right now, determining what that is. Is it just for Americans, or is it just for people who also trespass and committed illegal actions stepping onto our border? So I'm passionate about it. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. They need to do that. They need to drag each and every last one of them out. They need to do it. Because it doesn't affect people until you're someone where your son, your daughter, or your home itself gets robbed by somebody that wasn't supposed to be there. God forbid something happens to someone you care about that wasn't supposed to be here, that could have been prevented easily. It means nothing. You say, Leon, don't you got family or people that are non-citizens? Hey, they better have their shit in order. And I'm not taking it back. And I'm not apologetic about it. Because enough people who have done this shit, that going through the process, and every day someone leaves the immigration office having raised their right hand and pledged allegiance to the flag and got their certificate, and they walked out. That means they spent the money, they spent the time, they went through the grind. They did it. And you're like, oh, well, you got yours. Why don't you? Yeah, we can advocate for people to get theirs too. And we should advocate. We should be the most highest advocates for them within the restraint, within the confines of the legal jargon. If anything, it should not be an advocate. We shouldn't be advocating to bring illegal people into here. We should be advocating for the laws which determine who stays and who goes to be changed and adjusted where it is fair and it recognizes the need for a workforce, not just the need for a workforce that will conform to speaking English, a workforce that doesn't have a negative or bad history, or when I say illegal history, not negative or bad history, I ain't talking about what somebody said about you. I'm talking about what you did that potentially would have put you in prison in your previous country, in the country you came from. So when that takes place, I am an advocate for dragging out the ones that want to manipulate the system and want to drain the system. Because if you look at the amount of money that's spent in SNAP benefits, that was the biggest holdup, right? Medicaid and Medicare, that was one of the biggest holdouts, right? For this whole shutdown, government shutdown. People who don't belong here, or people who got in here illegally, but we see the numbers that they do make up a majority, a good solid amount of the funding that goes into those programs. Yeah, they make it up. Hey man, I can rant and I can scream about this all day, but more importantly, you can take the time, like, follow, and let's talk about this a little bit more in the chat.